Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chasing Meet Cutes podcast. I am your host, Nicole.
And I'm your host, Trisha. Today, we are diving into the Taylor Sheridan Empire. We've got Yellowstone, we've got Lioness, we've got Landman. We're going to keep it at those three series. We know he has a few more under his belt, so to speak, but we're just going to hit those three today, and really Yellowstone. We're going to go into all of the prequel series too. We got 1883, 1923, and then of course the main series. So for those that don't know, I'm going to read a quick little synopsis on the origin story of the Dutton family. So hopefully it will make sense for all of the series up until the main one. So the Yellowstone series and its prequels, beginning with 1883, explore the origins and legacy of the Dutton family, who established the largest contiguous cattle ranch in the United States. 1883 follows the family's perilous journey westward as they seek to a new life in Montana, laying the foundation for their future empire. In the main series, Yellowstone, set in modern times, the Duttons, led by patriarch John Dutton, fiercely defend their land and family from outside threats, including land developers, rival ranchers, and indigenous tribes. The saga is a gripping tale of family loyalty, power struggles, and the unyielding desire to protect one's legacy across generations.
Great summary.
They weren't kidding about family loyalty.
Yeah, that's for sure. So as usual, we are just going to dive into all of the on-screen romances that we see throughout each of these series. We're going to start with 1883 and go with James and Maggie.
The OGs.
The OGs.
The OG Duttons.
James and Maggie, obviously played by Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. If you didn't know that, which, again, if you didn't, I don't know why you're listening, because we're going to have some major spoilers.
Right.
So
definitely watch the entire Yellowstone
trilogy,
in entirety.
You want to kick it off?
Sure.
Okay.
So obviously their chemistry is great because they're married in real life.
Yeah.
But which we said, I wonder if that's ever not a thing. If there's ever been other married couples that are both actors that can't display the on-screen chemistry. Like, I don't know if that's too much pressure, but regardless, that's not an issue.
Not an issue for them whatsoever.
Yeah, from the very beginning, we see their kind of love for each other, their desire still for each other after all these years.
Yeah.
That opening scene, or one of the opening scenes in the first episode, when they end up in that old hotel.
Oh, yeah. And like the clawfoot tub.
Town. Yeah, and they're just hanging in the clawfoot tub. Like, yeah, they still love each other, and they're not just together
to be together.
Yeah. And from the very beginning, I think we see James as a protector.
Yes.
Of his family, number one, but also his wife. But also that Maggie can hold her own.
Maggie,
from the very beginning, he's not worried about her.
No.
He knows when he goes off. Whether it was during the Civil War, beforehand, or throughout this entire show, he knows when he walks away, Maggie's going to protect their family.
Maggie's going to be fine.
And she's going to protect those around her.
Yes.
Not that he doesn't care about her, but he's
not like being a jerk and leaving. He just like knows that he can and that she'll be fine.
Right. Because we definitely see other women that are kind of like,
oh, yeah.
Woe is me. I don't know what to do. I'm just a little lady.
Like,
and she's like, where's my gun? Yeah, she's like, give me my gun.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Like, I have to handle this.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, obviously, I'm going to leave my kids without a mother.
Yep.
My husband without a wife. And we can't have that.
They're fighters.
Yeah.
They're fighters. And I think, honestly, like, the component of surviving makes their relationship stronger.
Yes.
And also because, like, the whole idea of absence makes the heart grow fonder. There's definite times where he's been gone for extended periods.
Right.
And I think that just is one thing that contributes to their love being so strong, because they just genuinely want to be around each other and love to be around each other, and they still kind of poke fun at each other. I don't know. It was just it was also sweet to see that time period of a romance on screen, because it didn't feel so unrelatable and far-fetched from like a different time that we can't relate to. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, the world was so different,
Yes.
but they're still two humans in love and going through trials and messy life, and it was relatable somehow.
Yeah. No, totally. I just wrote that, like, whenever we see James express or show his confidence in Maggie, I'm just like drooling.
Yeah.
Like, I know we already just said that, but I'm just like, I just love that so much. And like, he just has full confidence in her to like get the wagon across the river.
Right.
And like, he knows he can do it. He's telling everyone else, like, yeah, she can do that. Like, that's not a problem.
Not only does he have confidence in her, it's a lack of like, not a lack of, but it's him relinquishing control.
Yes.
He's not trying to be like, I'm the man, I know what's best, this is what we're going to do. He's like, this is what we have to do. Can you do it?
Right. And she does every time. There's no, I mean, she's clearly not a feminist in like the, I don't know, would you say the modern sense? But you can't be in that scenario in the Wild West. Like, you can't be the damsel in distress that's like, I need the man to do everything, because like, you're gonna die.
Well, and that's where I feel like she is a feminist in the sense of what it was maybe initially intended to be. I want to hold my own. I have something to offer more than just childbearing, cooking, cleaning, keeping the house. Like, she can do all that, but I can also do things that you can do. Right. And maybe it's not the same, but she can still get her wagon across. Yeah. Because it was life or death. Her on that.
It was life or death, truly. So
there was no room for like politicizing anything. No, I think that was the beauty of the whole Yellowstone series. Was just like, yes, we do see politics enter into it in 1923, and of course the main one, but like it was truly a race to survive, and none of that. You just did what you had to do. Right. But I do think that they're, even though they were fighting for their life most of the show, they still had those moments of being playful and romantic, and they just had such a deep love for each other. Yeah. Like, they knew what real sacrifice looked like. And it was just such a great love. Yeah. Like, it was such a great foundational love for the Dutton family. Yes. The American family.
Amen to that. Even in like the hard stuff, like towards the end there, like I think like as hard as it was going to be for like her to let John go, James go with Elsa, like she knew that would be best and in the best interest of, what was his name?
John.
That was John. Yeah, little John.
John Jr.
John Jr. Yeah, but I think that just shows like their understanding for each other, and that like, okay, yeah, like he does know best or what's in the best interest of our family. He's leading
their family.
And he's leading.
And she's allowing it, even though it's ripping her
so
heart out.
Hard, yeah.
But also it also is like him saying, I'm willing to take this on. Like to be there in the final moments in their daughter's life. I can't even imagine.
Horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, I was horrific. Wrecked.
It was so it was so sad, but he was just like, I'm willing to take this on.
I'm going to do it.
Even though he could have been like, we're going to keep her here with all of us together, and when she goes, she goes. But he knew, again, what was best.
Yeah.
What would be the easiest transition for them, because they couldn't just stop.
Right.
They had to keep going. Even though they physically ended up settling there, but they didn't stop. It wasn't like life was leisurely at that point. They had to build a life and keep working and all the things. But I think their relationship was just one that we saw that they were willing to go to the ends of the earth with each other.
Yeah.
And for each other.
I mean, ultimate goals, honestly.
Yeah, truly.
I love them so much.
Truly. I think they're probably one of my top, maybe just my top favorite in all of Taylor Sheridan's couples that he's put together.
They're definitely top two for me, probably top one.
Yeah. And I think a lot of that is because it's Tom and Faith.
Right.
Tim. Edit
How
that
embarrassing.
out. Tim and Faith. But yeah, great writing too, just for their characters.
Yeah.
And I think the byproduct of them was obviously Elsa. I mean,
Yeah.
she had the best parts of both of them combined.
Totally.
And she was a Spitfire.
Yeah.
And I loved her character too. And I am so glad that they kept her voice as the narrator for the entire series, because her voice was just rich, and the tone and the accent.
Yep. She crushed it.
Straight money.
Yeah.
So let's talk about her. Oh, wait, you have more?
No, I don't, but toxic or non-toxic?
Oh, obviously.
They're not toxic in the slightest. But yeah, let's get into Elsa. Elsa and Ennis.
I think they had the best meet cute of all the couples.
I agree.
One of the best.
It was, yeah.
Just so
it was such cute, like little
innocent.
Young love.
Yes, just like it started off as a little crush.
Yeah.
And then
he just was like being playful and flirty and like,
and yet respectful, because he's like, he works for her father.
Exactly.
So he
knew would kill him.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, I will scalp you.
Yeah. Like, no problem. Wouldn't even think twice about it.
Wouldn't lose a wink of sleep.
Yeah.
And I feel like, even though, I mean, it's a short series, so it was as slow as a burn could be in a limited series, but I do think it wasn't just so quick. Like, they had the little playful moments. They had Elsa being like, I just want to position myself to be near him, under the guise of, well, I just want to be a cowgirl.
Yeah, like, I'm just going to be with the herd.
Right.
And, like, I can do it.
And she did. And I think there was a genuine side of her that obviously wanted to keep the herd and be with the herd.
Oh, sure.
But
instead of just being back with the camp,
but I also think it was for Ennis.
Oh, definitely. And I think she just really, obviously it was young love. She was barely 18.
She was smitten.
She had her 18th birthday out there. But she just like wanted to experience all the things.
She really did.
Like, she was like itching to experience all the things. But yeah, he was so sweet and so respectful. I obviously would have loved for that to blossom more. But unfortunately, we don't get to see that happen because
he gone.
Ennis doesn't make it to Montana or anywhere else for that matter.
He didn't make it very far at all.
Yeah.
But I loved that Ennis wasn't intimidated by Elsa's like confidence, because especially early on, like when they still had yet to experience that many hardships or that many violent moments along the way. I think she was still so gung-ho about like, let's just get it, I want to go down. And they're like especially James is like, you don't really know what you are saying you want, because it's bad out there. And she was just like, I don't care, I'm ready, I want to do it, let's do this. But I love that Ennis saw that and was just like even more infatuated with her. He just loved her. And I think they were a good like pairing of being like, he was kind of goofy, she's strong and independent, but he kind of like allowed her to like lighten up a bit. And they also had great chemistry, the two of those.
I agree.
Actors. And I really was heartbroken.
I know.
Heartbroken when
that was
and
rough.
I just felt for Elsa, because I'm thinking, okay, at one point, what was she, 16, 17? And then she turned 18 eventually.
I think she was 17 out there, and then had her 18th birthday like within the first couple episodes.
She that is so young to experience all of it that she's experiencing, obviously. But like to lose somebody that you're in love with at that age, I can't imagine. I mean, heartbreak alone at that age is like, feels like the end of the world. But yeah, I was wrecked when Ennis died, and so was Elsa. And for a long time, she just was hardened. You could tell.
Understandably out there.
Definitely. But then whatever you call them, the crew of them, what's the name that they always refer to them as? Like everyone in their wagons.
I don't know.
I think there was a name for him, but I can't remember. But as they were going along, the trail, they come across this Comanche tribe warrior group and have a little run-in, and one of their warriors sees Elsa's strength and bravery, and he's kind of like, who is she? I need to get to know her.
Mm-hmm.
And that ends up being Sam, who we know ultimately falls in love with Elsa.
Yep.
So thoughts on Sam?
The concept of them like mixing cultures
Mm-hmm.
in that specific like time period is so insane. Like,
oh yeah,
almost unheard of. Obviously not fully unheard of, but I don't think either side was like very thrilled about it or open to it.
Mm-hmm.
She obviously shows like the commitment to like learning the Comanche customs and the language and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think she is very quick to jump into things with these boys out here.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you said, she just had such a hunger for life.
Yeah.
And she wanted to experience all of everything.
Yeah.
So that included even the style of the chaps that they made for her that she could wear as pants instead of her dresses or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I thought they were cute.
Mm-hmm.
He was a handsome guy.
Yeah, they had a great dynamic.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that forbidden love story where like Ennis kind of had the boy next door. Dad still didn't like it, but he was under Dad's thumb.
Opening.
He knew,
open.
Yeah, and just more of a comfortable choice for everybody. Sam was not, like you just said, and I think they didn't know Sam from Adam, so that scared everybody. And instead of Elsa having a healthy fear about it, she's like, who cares? I love him. I'm gonna do whatever I want. And that was a point of contention between her and Maggie and James. And eventually, though, I think Sam proves his love for Elsa to the family and was just like, I know we're different. We have our differences. We have our cultural differences, but I love her, and they
want to marry her.
They want to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the scene that always like I could never, when they kill the bison and she just takes a bite out of the heart.
Yeah.
I just am like,
I'm not doing that for you. I'm so sorry. Like,
I respect it if that's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing that.
I'm not doing that. That's just a step too far.
Yep. It's like doing too much.
Yeah. Like, you want me to put like the feathers in my hair or
you
paint on my face clothes. Or
great,
the clothes.
I'll do it.
I'm not eating a bison heart.
I'm not going to do that. No.
I'm not doing that, and I'm not putting the blood on me. Like, I'm so sorry.
I do think that we see a little bit more of a grown-up Elsa in that relationship where she kind of had all her first experiences with Ennis.
Yeah.
And she kind of felt more like a woman in this relationship. And so I feel like we do see a little bit more passion between the two of them.
Yeah.
And she's also seen a lot more.
Right. Totally.
And so she's kind of just like,
ain't no thing now. Yeah.
Like, whatever happens, happens. I could die tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I don't really care. But yeah, she just had such like a tenacity for life and love and just being a warrior. She just really was.
Yeah. Do you think their relationship was toxic or not toxic?
No, I don't think it was toxic. I think it was what's the right word? I think there was just so many layers because then there would be times when he would go, they would separate, and then they would come back and find each other. And then their final goodbye of her saying the phrase of like, I love you or whatever it was in their native tongue. To me, I loved like the subtle foreshadowing and her learning that, and like being open to learning those cultures really saved their lives on one hand. Like,
Mm-hmm.
she was able to say that later on to somebody else. But
Yeah.
their final moments of like, I'm leaving. I got to go this way. You got to go that way.
Yeah.
Let's meet back here at X time or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very like sweet, and while also they still both held their allegiance and loyalty to their families and are making good on the promises they've kept to help their own people to get through where they're going. And yeah, I thought it was respectable. I don't think it was toxic.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but their goodbye was sad. Yeah. And then, of course, when Elsa dies and Sam does go back.
That, you know what, that was toxic was that arrow. Unfortunately. Yeah.
It was literally toxic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rip to Elsa.
I really hated to see her go.
Me too. I already said it, but I was truly just wrecked at that.
She would have been so great in 1923.
I know. Ugh.
The last couple or on-screen romance from 1883 that we kind of got glimpses at was Thomas, the one of the other captains or leaders that were kind of aiding them in their journey, and Noemi. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
They were okay. They had a physical attraction, number one. Okay, do you remember that scene when she's basically like stripping in front of him and he's just like sitting at the fire and she's just like, I'm gonna get your attention one way or another.
Yep.
I'm just like, girl.
He's so cute. He's so cute. He's so sweet and respectful.
He was so timid.
Oh my gosh, so shy.
Meek is a great word for him because it's just like strength undercover kind of thing. You know, it wasn't like he's weak.
Yeah, no.
He had a meekness about him. The entire time, but especially with her.
I loved him so much. Yeah.
He
showed, like, once he kind of, like, gave in to the fact, like, okay, I actually like this woman. He just was so cute, even with, like, the gifts that he got her with, like, his last little bit of money or whatever it was.
Yeah,
like,
it was a nice gift, too.
Yeah. I just thought that was so sweet. I'm like, protect him at all costs. Like,
I know, and I'm so glad that they did.
Yes.
Because we saw them settle in their land together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that ultimately gave Thomas a greater purpose.
Yeah.
To get to the end.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, we didn't see too terribly much from them, but...
No, but they were cute. They looked great together. We see both of them in other Taylor Sheridan dramas, I'm pretty sure. Lots of crossover.
We see him in Lioness, which we were so excited to see him there. We're like,
it was so weird to hear his voice because he had such a thick accent in 1883.
Yeah.
But
we feel the same about him in Lioness. Just protect him at all costs. Like, if anything happens to him, we
thought for a moment he wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how 1883 ends. We see each of the groups kind of settle where they want to. They made it to their final destinations. And then the saga continues 40 years later in 1923. So we do still see the Dutton family, but at this point, James and Maggie are both gone due to the elements.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with James, but
they told us Maggie like froze to death.
Yeah, and we didn't even get to see it. I'm like, you're not going to show it. I mean, not that I want to see her like literally frozen to death, but I want to know like, how did it get to that point?
Right.
Like, I want to know more of what happens in between 18. Like, give us a 1903.
Yeah, no, seriously.
Please. Because just we also don't see Spencer.
One episode.
Spencer didn't exist at the end.
Yeah.
So the whole time, because obviously we started 1883, kind of knowing that there were this family was still alive in modern day, and we at that point knew that there was a 1923.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like we would have seen like James and Maggie find out that Maggie's pregnant and kind of how that all unfolds, but we don't. And all we know is that Spencer and John, Little John, were the only ones to really make it through.
Little John and the East Side Boys.
They were the West Side Boys.
Yeah, the West Side Boys.
They were the only ones to make it, and then really in like the first episode, John dies.
Yeah.
Right?
I think.
Or was he already dead?
I don't remember, to be honest.
A lot happened in that
the
first few moments of 1923 where we see Kara literally like shooting someone down or like what's going on. And when she goes back to the house, we end up finding out, kind of who's left in the Dutton family and how she's married to like the cousin or something. The brother
Jacob.
Jacob. Yeah. Is Jacob... Was he the brother? He was the brother of James.
Yeah.
Okay, so we never once really heard of Jacob.
No.
In 1883, but now he is the Dutton, head of the Dutton Ranch,
right,
in Montana, and him and his wife Kara basically parented Spencer.
Yeah,
and maybe even Little John. So we do see Jacob and Kara a little bit as far as their relationship goes, and they're sweet together. I think they just seem like a solid couple. We don't know much about their history or how they met, but obviously Kara has like an Irish accent or something, so I'm sure they have their own little story of how they came to be together. But I just loved like those scenes between them where like he's getting up early, getting ready to go somewhere, and she's kind of waking up. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wake you." It's just like, oh, they're just like a normal. They're a normal couple who don't do normal things because they're literally having to protect their land.
Yeah, I think they're just like focused on the legacy aspect,
right?
Like protecting the land, protecting the family, and Kara stands by Jacob to do that. And she's not the damsel in distress.
Nope.
Same thing. Like,
you can't be
it's
in
like
the Dutton
if you're
family,
going to be a part of this family,
unless you're freaking whatever James's sister was.
Well, yeah, Claire.
She wasn't.
She wasn't even a damsel in distress. She just was.
She wasn't having it.
She just was a horrible person. Anyway, Kara was not a damsel in distress. She's like, I know what it means to be a part of this family, and I'm gonna embrace that, and that's it. And
they just experience so much loss so frequently.
Yeah,
like whether that was from dying of natural causes of like sickness or whatever, or like literally being attacked, and your family members go out to protect the land and they don't come home.
Back.
Like there's just that whole American life experience is something we have no concept of, and people forget that.
Right.
And that's one reason I love our country.
Amen.
But yeah, people they forget that they literally had to fight to protect their land from each other.
Right.
It wasn't only just outside people that, whatever. But so I think they just look like warriors in their own right, Jacob and Kara. They've seen some things, they've lived some life, and they're like, hey, we're oldies, but like, we need y'all to protect it. But because Spencer's one of the only living Dutton men, they're like,
and we
need you to come home, boy.
He's not there.
You got to stop hunting.
Yep. So let's talk about Spencer.
Let's. I would be honored.
You're like, Spencer's like Trisha's favorite.
Yeah, he really is. I love him so much. I just loved his character.
Yeah.
At first, I was so confused. Like,
Me
when
too.
It opened up in like Africa. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, he's on like some safari hunt situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, do you want to start it off with him and Alex?
Sure. I think they had a cute meet cute as well.
Yes.
At the hotel.
For
and
sure.
He's just like in his own lane doing his own thing.
Yeah. He's like there for a task and.
Yep. And he doesn't have time for distractions, for relationships. He's just kind of like unfazed by Alex, who's kind of coming over with all her giddy girlfriends and asking him all the questions, and oh, you're American, oh, what do you do, oh, you're the hunter, okay. Like, he clearly has a reputation that precedes himself. And so Alex, although she was engaged. So but you could just tell straight out the gate, she was a woman that was meant to be a Dutton. Okay.
Totally.
She was seeking adventure, seeking independence. She didn't want to be engaged to the string bean,
little bean
soy
boy.
Okay, I don't even know his name. No,
I don't know his name either. But
it's not even worth knowing.
But Sorry, go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say they meet there. It's a cute moment. So while they're staying at this hotel, Spencer eventually comes time to head out onto another camp or something. And she basically packs her bags and runs to the car and was like, hey, yo, I'm coming with you. And he's like, what?
Like, huh?
And she's like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And so they kind of start this adventure together.
Yeah.
And I think she quickly realizes, like, oh, this is actually dangerous.
Yeah.
It's not just going to be, like, for funsies.
It's not like, I don't know what, like the average person would think of an adventure. Like, it wasn't going to be that. No. It was going to be way more
It's giving,
insane.
like, I think she was thinking, like, Tarzan and Jane, like, oh, we'll go off to some place. Like, no, you're going to be hiding in a tree fighting for your life.
For your life.
A
people are shooting at you.
Is trying to get to you. And, like, people are shooting at you.
Yeah.
So they just, like, are going everywhere and trying to survive as well. And, but they obviously eventually give in to each other and they fall in love.
Yeah.
And I thought they were so great together.
They were. They
seemed
are
so comfortable with each other, like so believable. She was just a spitfire and like willing to say and do whatever.
Yeah, especially like once
keeps her on his toes.
Once she realized that, like, oh, this is going to be crazier than I thought. Like I said earlier to you, like she had that decision to make of whether she's going to embrace these insane adventures or if she could remain the damsel in distress that doesn't work for the Dutton family.
Right.
And she chose to, like, all right, like, I'm going to dive right in.
She came from, like, obviously a wealthy position. Yeah. Like, she's family in London or wherever she's from. I think it was London.
Yeah.
She didn't need to follow Spencer.
No.
Because she didn't have anybody. Like, she made that choice, like you're saying.
Yeah, but I loved them together.
Yeah, their physical chemistry was great. I loved their personalities were so night and day. Yes. So opposites attract.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
It was very hot.
I know. I can't wait to see more of it.
Me too. I feel like their storyline, because in 1923, it's kind of like three storylines happening simultaneously, and so they bounce back and forth. And they all left unended.
Yeah.
And so, but I found myself like, please just get back to the Spencer and Alex story. I want to see what's happening because they were literally facing death like every other scene, but also like so lovey-dovey and like just even the scene where they get married on the ship. Yeah. Like it's just so sweet. Like,
it is.
They just kind of had this recognition of like, we don't know what life's going to bring us.
Yeah, but we're going to do it together.
Yeah. And while we're at it, let's just like cement this thing.
Yep.
Put it in stone. Yep. Let's get married.
Which was it was like necessary for some reason. I can't remember why.
Yeah,
they also needed to get married.
They did. Yeah. They kind of toyed around with the idea and then they were like, let's just actually do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite Spencer scene, I literally had to look up the quotes. Like, I don't want to mess this up. When they go on the cruise ship towards the end and they realize that her ex-fiance and family are also on this little cruise back to, what is it, London or something. Yeah. They were going to get there and then venture back to the U.S. But, of course, her string bean of a dude wants to, like, take up a fight with Spencer. And he's literally, like, to his dad, like, get your son. I kill people for a living.
Yeah.
Okay? He doesn't want to pick a fight with me. And the dude wouldn't let it go. And Spencer gets up in his face after he calls Alex an effing whore across the entire ballroom. He just casually turns around, walks straight up to him, gets so close to his face and whispers,
this is so
you
good.
Got about 30 seconds of BS me. Then I'm going to mop the effing floor with you.
Yeah. That was so good.
It was just such a like,
yeah.
Okay.
Don't mess with me. Don't mess with my people. Don't mess with my girl.
Oh my gosh. It was like the hottest moment of him because he was just being like her defender.
Yeah.
And he was just, He could have walked away and they could have gone back. But obviously we see that is a big, you know, one of the reasons it ends on a cliffhanger is because they do end up fighting and whatever. But I loved him.
Yes.
Love him. So I'm excited to see how it all works out with them both reconvening and him making it back to Montana and all the things. But yeah, 1923 was great.
Yeah. And their relationship, not toxic.
No.
Not toxic.
No, it was anything but. Well, that really brings us to
Yellowstone.
The current main series of Yellowstone, we see several more romantic scenes and romantic couples on Yellowstone.
Yeah. We don't dive into all of them, but quite a few.
Yeah.
We're going to start with Beth and Rip.
We might as well.
Let's do it. They're my second favorite couple, I think.
Yeah.
I love them so much. Obviously they didn't like start off together really. Like it was kind of like, are they not?
Well, in the first season,
they have so much history.
We were kind of just trying to figure out what their history was. Because like we knew, like we were being clued into the fact that they did have history, but we weren't sure what happened or even really know. What Rip's story was.
Right.
But when we did finally see them meeting as kids,
yes,
you just kind of knew like
how it was gonna unfold.
Like Rip from the get-go was just kind of like, she's psycho, but I love her.
Yeah, I mean that's what I literally wrote. Like she's insane, but
I
wouldn't.
Insane.
Yeah, she like clinically, but I wouldn't change her. Like
no, she has to be like that in order to get
and like
things done.
Them two together, like this is a term that I heard in another show that I love. But they're like the kite and the line. Like she's the kite and he's the line.
Oh yeah,
and
for
like
sure.
I mean, Rip is crazy too, but he grounds Beth. Like,
and he's crazy in a very purposeful
and
calculated. He's never just like willy-nilly about it. Like I'll think about the consequences later.
Yeah,
Beth's kind of do then think, and Rip's more think than do.
Yeah,
and yeah, I 100% agree. He's definitely the line that keeps her grounded for sure.
And I feel like Beth is insane, but we could also call her toxic.
That's literally what I said was Beth is toxic, their relationship's not.
Yes, like because he doesn't play into her toxicity. He like is aware of it and allows her to do that, and he's like, okay, good. So are you coming or not?
Yeah.
Or whatever the scenario is. Like he just doesn't really play into it. Like he lets her be that way.
Dude, the scene where I forget Summer and her are still beefing at the dinner, and they go out, and he's like, both y'all get outside now, fight it out. And he stands there and watches and
lets his
wife
woman
like get destroyed, and her destroy her. It's like, yeah, he's just like, I can't just say no, don't do that, stop, Beth. She ain't gonna listen.
She's not gonna listen.
So the only way is to just like, y'all need to get this out of your systems now. And when it was over, we're done with this.
Yep.
We're not talking about this anymore.
Yep. It's over.
Yeah. No, Rip is a real man. That's what
he is a freaking man.
He's a man.
Oh my, I love him.
Ain't nothing soy about him.
No soy boy there. He just like the number of times throughout the series that we were like, where's Rip? Like when Beth gets herself into something or someone's hurting her in any way, like we've seen so many times, and we're just like, where's Rip? Like we know he's on the way. Yeah. We know he is. Yep. Where is he? Like we need him, and he shows up every time. He's such like a fierce protector.
Oh yeah. And the thing about their love is like, and I think every married couple thinks that this is what your love's going to be like. But theirs was truly unconditional.
Yes. Yeah.
You can kill someone. Yeah. You can
take them to the train station.
You can do literally anything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be here. I'm going to be here for you.
Yeah. I think, were you going to say something else? I think Beth too, just like she knows that she is safe with him.
Mm-hmm.
And she lets her guard down with him, but with him only.
Yeah.
And like, I made a note, like when he comes home after, in, you know, the latest season, when he comes home after the news of John,
Mm-hmm.
and she just like runs outside and finally breaks down about it. Like, you know, it's just because like,
now I can.
like, he is her comfort, her safety, and she can be vulnerable with him.
Yep.
She doesn't show that really with anyone else. But.
Well, and we see, like, even as crazy and insane as she is, in a weird dynamic she had with her dad, she was such like a daddy's girl. Like, she longed for his attention and approval and like his love, really. And I think she didn't really have that vulnerability with anybody but Rip. Like, she wouldn't allow herself to go there. And really, in the very beginning, we didn't even see her have that with Rip.
No.
It was kind of like this moment of like, okay, she's finally, because he, in the very beginning, he's like, I'm not doing this with you. Like, I've tried, you can tell it's like, I've tried to ask you on a date. You don't come. You don't take this seriously. I'm not doing it. Right. Because I think Rip knew that about himself. Like, it's all or nothing for me.
Yeah, totally.
That's how Rip is.
Yep.
As with anything.
Yeah.
So
loyal to the core.
When she finally got that and was like, okay, I'd rather give into this because he's this person who knows me like nobody else does.
Yeah.
And then we
and
later
is
find
loyal
out
to my father.
He is like so loyal. I think we see the loyalty component more so in the Yellowstone main like modern series than we do even in the older ones. And maybe that's just because more's at stake in this modern one, but they just had unconditional love for one another. Yeah. And they're great on screen together. And
I love them so much. They're so cute.
They are.
I love like their cute little moments together that it's just like just the two of them.
Yep.
But yeah, non-toxic. She's toxic.
She's toxic.
She'll forever be toxic.
Yep.
But Rip holds it down.
He do.
And
Yep. That brings us to Brother Casey.
Brother Casey. Oh, my.
Which we kind of, they had another brother, Lee, who dies in the very first episode.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
And he had to die because he had to then go beyond
Lioness
as Neil. But Casey's kind of like the baby of the family who, made some bad choices, didn't want to have anything to do with the ranch. He obviously ends up meeting Monica when they were young. Yeah. They have a baby.
Yeah. And she's part of the Indian reserve or whatever, like the tribe that's still there.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
I don't know either.
I don't know what, like,
said it, but
I'm not sure, but
I can't remember.
Yeah,
they live on the reservation.
Yeah, on the reservation. How did you feel about them at the beginning?
I hated them at the
Me
beginning.
too.
I didn't like how Monica was seemingly like so controlling over how Casey ought to feel about his family and the ranch. Yeah. Because I'm just like, sure, like I think she felt more justified in the ways that the men on the reservation handled things, which they killed people too. Right. And yet it just felt like very pointing fingers at like how the Duttons and other like were also handling people or And I think it was just kind of one of those like, y'all both are wrong.
Exactly.
Like no one of you is better than the other.
No.
Even though you both feel completely justified in your actions. And I just felt like, yes, when we find out that John Dutton really kind of told Casey, like, you can't stay here if you want to be with her. You're going to have to be elsewhere. And he obviously later apologized for that, feels guilty about it. So I think eventually when Monica kind of was knocked down a few pegs and realized that, like, he wasn't all bad.
Right.
I started to like their relationship more. And they obviously were like a freaking roller coaster through the first few seasons. But
yeah, I felt like she had such... she kind of had a victim mindset, especially especially once Casey like started talking to John again, like she just felt maybe betrayed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like she was kind of just like a whiny baby about everything. And I'm like you said, no one side here is right in how they're handling things. And you might think it's wrong that John Dutton owns all this land and whatever, but like your people aren't so innocent either.
Like, your brother killed my brother, so my people killed your brother.
Right.
Like what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like,
this is how it works.
It's messy, for sure. None of it, nobody's getting a gold star here.
Yeah. And then also, as far as the land goes, like, what's his name? I forget his name. The one guy that always wore the suit.
Yeah.
He's trying to develop the land too,
right.
like with a casino or some
and
crap
even
like
more
that.
Of the hotels
like
and all that. Yeah.
It's like, okay, let's just.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to the Elsa and Sam thing, where like we're gonna have to mesh these two cultures and find a way to do it.
Right.
Otherwise, like it can't work.
Right. And that's where I feel like Casey was never suggesting at any point that he didn't want her culture to play a part in their family or their life or his son's life. But he was also like, but my son loves to go fishing with my dad and be on the ranch and train the horses or whatever. It's just like, yeah, we should be able to figure out what the blend looks like. Y'all two chose to have a baby together and be together.
Yeah.
You both come from different cultures. One can't trump the other.
Right.
You got to just both make it work. So I think eventually they got there, and they had to go through a lot of traumatic events to get there. And so I do think that Casey and Monica at times both showed sacrifice.
Yes,
in their
for
relationship.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, physically they can't ever keep their hands off each other.
No, they can't.
They definitely love each other for sure.
Yep.
Casey's like a secret baddie.
Oh yeah.
Like, I knew he was
like
a
Beth
Dutton.
like outwardly shows it.
Yeah, Casey, like in this last season, I was like, oh,
there we go.
That's
yeah.
He is a Dutton.
There's the Dutton.
Because I think for a while he was afraid. I think he wanted to suppress that nature in him. Plus,
and
he's like a war vet. He had he had his own traumas to deal with.
And I think he was also just trying to be like non-confrontational as far as like the family stuff went. Like, or maybe he didn't want to believe that
he didn't want to buy into the political business side of what it required. He never did.
No.
But yeah, I think they had toxic moments, and in the beginning their relationship was toxic. And even when they did break up, I think they had to have broken up. Like, I think she was being a whiny baby. Obviously, he's trying to protect her. She just says, like, no, you're not going to tell me what to do. We're done.
Yeah.
Takes his son away from him. And yeah, so eventually, though, when they got back on track and where they left off, they're not toxic.
Yeah. I feel like they just realized the importance of
marriage.
Everything. Like some of the stuff they were, fighting about before was just like not important.
Nope.
But yeah, ultimately non-toxic.
Yep.
Once they came around.
And Monica's like the only woman Beth has tolerance for. So I think Casey's like, I better make this work.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, she saw that. She's like,
yeah,
okay, if Beth is going to protect me in the way that she did, and I just think she kind of was like, had a little bit of a mindset shift there.
Yeah.
When she saw that, like, okay, I am part of this family and I will be protected as such. So, yeah.
Let's talk about John.
John.
Rest in peace.
John and Linnell.
Yeah, we could talk about a few people with John of Summer. We're not going to talk about Summer.
I don't want to talk
really
about Summer.
That.
Me neither. That was so stupid.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about John and Linnell, who I love them so much. This is more of like I wish they would have just been together.
That was the two things I wrote down was great chemistry, should have been ended.
They had such good chemistry. Why they didn't just give into it, I don't know. I mean, of course the politics of it.
Together.
I mean,
they had a history.
They did. I loved their little sweet moments of them together.
Dude, remember in the beginning when Beth saw her leave and went ham?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Beth.
Yeah.
And then Beth came around,
she did.
at the end. But yeah, that's really, they obviously aren't really together, so we don't have
No.
anything to
But
go
the
off of
moments
there.
they
But
did share, you could just tell they
they were
always
so
wanted to be
sweet.
around each other. And
Yeah.
they had a love for
They
each
definitely
other.
loved each other.
Yeah.
They did.
For sure.
So whether we can call their relationship toxic or not toxic, I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. It was just a fling.
Yeah. They're like just an honorable mention.
They are.
What do we got next?
Let's talk about Teeter.
Teeter and Colby.
I think they're like beginning of their love story, how it happened, was just so funny.
It was.
Like,
it was.
It's like, yo, we almost died. Let's kiss.
Let's. Like, we almost died.
But I thought it would
get branded together and kiss.
Yes.
Wait, they did get branded together, didn't
so.
they? Yeah.
They were just so sweet and
they
cute.
Were.
But like Teeter is one of the boys.
Totally.
Like the other two girls that just kind of like moved into the bunk room to be with the other cowboys. You're just like, okay, who are you?
Yeah, goodbye.
But she was just one of the dudes, and yet she just loved Colby.
She really did.
Wanted to be like her sweet girly.
Yeah. I just love that, like, at first they like wouldn't really admit that they liked each other. I thought that was just so cute, and then obviously they just kind of finally admit it. But
they had a playful
side
to them, like just the teasing,
the poker
like,
games, all the
they're definitely like the competitive, like we're gonna have banter that's very playful and punchy, and like the like I'm gonna slightly bully you, but it's coming from a place of love and adoration for you. But I loved what they had, and it seemed like a real connection. And I think especially for people, those guys or those people in those positions, like you can't just be with anybody.
No, they have such an understanding for the job and what
and it
they
just worked for them because they were both there
and in it. Yep.
So
and of course we felt so bad for Teeter.
Oh my gosh, that was such a sad. It came out of nowhere.
It did. I didn't expect that.
I don't know why that happened.
Me neither. We need to know. Let's call Taylor.
Taylor. But also not toxic. Just
no. They're so cute.
Completely 100% great.
Yes, absolutely.
Healthy.
Totally.
Yeah.
So we've got one more couple. Ryan
they might be one of my top favorites.
Really? I mean,
I loved them.
Yeah, Ryan and Abby. Abby, who's played by Lainey Wilson. They're so cute.
They just had amazing chemistry.
Like their little, right off the bat.
Their little banter, like at the rodeos and the little concerts things that they would do, whatever events they had.
He just was infatuated with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His whole face lit up when he saw her, and you could tell was excited to see him be there, and so it was just so sweet. And they couldn't stay away.
No, I know.
And in the end, oh my gosh, I was nervous that they weren't gonna like
see each other.
Yeah, like I just thought that they were gonna go their separate ways, and he just truly sacrificed his career and not running off to find another, ranch to work at. And he was like, no, I'm coming with you.
Yeah. When he said, "You're my Super Bowl."
Oh my gosh. That's one of those moments that's going to go down in history.
Totally.
You're my Super Bowl.
You're my Super Bowl, he said to her.
Come on.
Like he was struggling to find the words in that interaction, and he finally, because I think he's like a shy guy.
He is, and he's a total dude. Again, these guys aren't like dating women. At the very least, they're sleeping around with randos from the bar or the radio or wherever. Yeah. They're not having like meaningful connections. So he probably was like, "Oh crap, I have real feelings. Like, how do I convey them?"
Yeah. That was the cutest moment. Cute. I hope that somehow we get to see more of them.
I do too.
We're gonna have to call Taylor on that one too, because we don't. They obviously end up good.
They're not even, but I don't think we will, because like if he's going with her, like he won't even be at the sixes, the 4 6s, or with Beth, or
I don't know. Somehow, I hope somehow we get to see more of them. I don't know how. Like,
can we just get our own little
little Ryan and Abby spinoff?
Please, like
that'd be great.
Taylor Sheridan can dip into the country music scene and make it all about that.
Yeah, he could do it.
We'll write him a letter.
Yeah.
Okay, so that ends really all of the on-screen romances. Overall, what's your top favorite Yellowstone saga couple?
Dear.
I mean, you kind of already said
James and Maggie, and then Beth and Rip. It's such a close. I think, and the only reason I think Beth and Rip are up there is because it's more current times.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't aspire to be like Beth or anything, but like I want a man like Rip. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
That's all she wrote.
That is all she wrote. What about you?
I agree. I think James and Maggie were, again, like I said, they were just like the patriarch. He was the patriarch of the family, and she was the best partner he could have ever asked for to be that. And so I love that they are the foundation of this whole family and series, really.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean, Rip and Beth goes without saying.
Yeah.
If you guys have noticed, we haven't said a word about Jamie because he's not even worth
worth our breath. So sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then Abby and Ryan, that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm. They are so stinking cute.
They looked great together. Everything about them. I just loved it. It was so sweet, even though we didn't get a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Not toxic, just like they had the meet cute.
Yes.
And they just like wanted to keep meeting.
Mm-hmm. Keep having meet cutes.
Yeah, they did. They did keep having meet cute. So
love them.
Yeah, those would be my top 3. Oh wait, no, Spencer and Alex.
Oh, I'm telling.
They might be.
I'm telling.
Don't tell. No, I think it might be like James and Maggie, Spencer and Alex, Beth, and that would be like obviously in working order too.
Yeah.
So
true.
But 5-star series. If you haven't, if you better have watched it or else. All spoilers. So.
Yeah.
I would give it a 5-star review.
Me too.
So.
Me too. All right. We're going to move on to the next Taylor Sheridan series here. 2 of them, Lioness and Landman. So I'm going to give a short summary of each of them really quickly before we dive in. So Lioness is, it follows Cruz Manuelos, a determined young Marine recruited into the CIA's Lioness program, which embeds female operatives alongside high-value targets to thwart terrorism. Balancing intense field work with personal struggles, Cruz works under Joe, a seasoned station chief, as they navigate the high-stakes world of espionage. Oh, that's a hard word. Espionage and sacrifice.
Yes. Should we talk about the Lioness couples before we get into the next?
Totally. So first we have Joe and Neil. As we just said, Joe is the chief of this Lioness program.
We're going to talk about the marriages that we see.
Yeah.
There's 2 married couples that we really only see. The rest is very combat-oriented, action, drama. So it's obviously not a show. It's not a romance show.
No, not even.
But I thought the marriages were worth talking about because they're very different.
Yes.
So we picked these 2 for a reason. Joe and Neil. Wow. They are a couple that have they have experienced true love and sacrifice.
Yes.
To be in a relationship with somebody who has a role like that in the military.
Like the CIA. Even like.
Yeah. I mean, because it's like they'd been married for however many years when she was in the military, then transitions into the CIA at some point.
And becomes the chief of this
she's just constantly getting calls, and like there's moments where I'm like they're together and she gets a call and then she has to leave right then. I'm like, we can't even finish lunch.
Yeah, and she can't even tell him where she's going, what she's doing, none of that.
It takes such a strength from him to be able to not put up with it, because it sounds like she's doing it maliciously, like it's her literal job and her passion. So he gets that, but to be able to have the wherewithal to have a relationship like that, and not only just like him and her, but they have kids, and he's like
teenage kids.
Yeah,
at least one of them is a teenager.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It is.
It's crazy to me.
We see it just tear them up.
I mean, we even said at one point, I'm like, do you think she should just like not be married? Like, if you're in this role, should you just choose to be single forever?
Yeah.
Because she basically, there was a moment where she tells Neil in the hospital, like, I'm not doing this.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to quit.
And like, you knew what this was.
You knew what this was. And he's having this moment of emotions and frustration, and he's just like,
it kind of finally just boils over.
Like, you can't be doing, you're literally gonna die if you go, like, she's still physically healing from some sort of wound,
a shrapnel wound.
And they're like, you shouldn't even be walking, really, because you move the wrong way, you could bleed out.
Right. She's
basically like, I don't care, I gotta go do this. And he's just kind of like, how can you do this when you have us at home? You know, it's just this constant back and forth and battle, but they have such a great love and respect for one another that they somehow make it work.
Especially when we see them together. It's
they're another one. They can't keep their hands off each other.
It's just so spicy. It's so spicy. So spicy.
Yeah. The scene where their daughter walks in on them.
Oh my. Mortified.
And you know what though? What we said about that, when Joe goes in to have the follow-up conversation with the daughter, and she was basically like, you should be so lucky that your parents still love each other and want to be with each other in this way. And I was like, okay, still acknowledge the scarring, but also good point. Good point, because there's plenty of kids whose parents are just great roommates and they're more like Caitlin and Errol. But I think they had great chemistry. I don't even think that their relationship's not toxic. It's just difficult.
It's so hard.
It's just such a difficult relationship to be in.
It's hard.
And
it's
manage
messy.
And keep healthy and keep the love there and keep your emotions in check. And
and he's a doctor. Like, he's a surgeon.
Oh, yeah. Like,
so like his work-life balance is messy too. Like, I don't know. It's tough.
It's interesting to see the dynamic of them as parents, as far as like who's playing good cop, bad cop. Like, there was a couple times where I feel like she's always had to be bad cop. And then she kind of realizes, like, that's not always going to work, because her daughter then just also doesn't really understand, what do you do? So because sometimes she'll see you being gone. There's no justification for it, because she doesn't even know why you're gone. And what you're doing. So I don't know. It's just such a struggle back and forth, but also lots of respect for their relationship. And I think the reality of so many couples in similar situations, maybe not in the CIA, but just even military couples where their spouse is gone for extended periods of time, and they're left just to be at home and take care of everyone and everything. Like, I don't know how people do it.
Total respect for that.
And I just love seeing Neil as a girl dad. Like, I think he's such a supportive husband. Like, he tries to do everything to the best of his ability, and I just want to be like, you're doing
great, sweetie.
Like, truly. He's not perfect. Nobody is, but he does a great job being at home.
What do you think of Caitlin and Errol? That's our next couple. I just wrote, like, what even is this?
No, literally. I was like, they don't even act married or in love.
No.
They're just, like, in that, we obviously know they have kids. They have grown kids. They're comfortable, boring, kind of weird. They have zero chemistry.
None.
They're just, like, excellent roommates at this point.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, sadly, I think this might be a realistic dynamic for a lot of couples, as far as, like...
Well, especially because they're both in very high profile. Like, probably both at a top security clearance type positions within the government. That I think on one hand, they're like, we can't not be with each other, because we know too much about
what each other are doing. And
so I think that dynamic probably plays a factor as well. Where we don't really see that in Joe and Neil, because Neil's not privy to a lot of things that's going on.
And it's funny too to see Caitlin and Errol, because a lot of times they have differing opinions on what each other are doing or what they think each other should be doing as far as their positions in government. and we do see them at one point like try to set up like a birthday lunch or dinner or something with the kids, and then it just like never
They were like,
never
it
happened.
can't happen. It's too late. I got to leave earlier.
Something. But I feel like they're just like very career driven.
I'm like, they're poor kids.
Yeah, because it's probably been like that for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're obviously grown children. They don't.
And like Caitlin, I'm sure she wasn't always in the position she's at. So she was probably similar to Joe in the respect of always gone. I mean, she is always gone, but like sometimes she's just somewhere in the Capitol on Capitol Hill doing something from behind the screen. But I'm sure there were moments working up to that point where she was just physically gone.
Yeah.
But
I mean, toxic, non-toxic. It's
toxic.
Like
toxic. I say toxic. It's not doing as far as the relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
Of course, their life circumstances and all that weird. But like, no, that is toxic. It is not life-giving. It's not healthy. It's not a good relationship to be in at all.
It's just,
it's just easy because it always has been. So they can't do anything to change it. Before we wrap up those two couples, we just have to give a little shout out to our girl Jill Wagner.
Jill Wagner,
who obviously has a huge role in the whole series of Lioness.
Yeah, but she's Bobby. In case you didn't know.
Oh my gosh, she's amazing.
She's the best.
Like we didn't know she was Jill Wagner. We didn't know Bobby was Jill Wagner.
Yeah,
we watched her in other things, and I was like, holy crap, her playing Bobby was insane.
Like we didn't watch Lioness through the lens of being Jill Wagner fans.
No.
Like we just watched it and she happened to be in it and we didn't even know.
No, and we were just like, oh dang, like her cool later. Character. Like yeah.
In a completely different role. But we're total Jill Wagner stans.
Total.
So we have to give her an honorable mention.
We do.
And we hope that Lioness goes on and on forever for the sake of Jill Wagner, because she was a co-creator on it. So
yeah, heck yeah.
We hope to see more seasons.
Yes.
And more seasons and more seasons.
I think we will.
I think so too.
I think we will.
So now.
Yeah, Taylor Sheridan's most recent series is Landman. Do you want me to read the summary?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Landman is a drama series set in the boom towns of West Texas, exploring the high-stakes world of the oil industry. The show follows Tommy Norris, portrayed by Billy Bob Thornton, a fixer for a major oil company, as he navigates the complex dynamics between roughnecks and billionaires during a transformative oil boom.
Yep.
This whole show concept is so interesting.
It really is.
And that's what I love about Taylor Sheridan. He's all over the map.
Yeah.
Like, he's just doing a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't wait to see what else he comes up with. But this show in particular, obviously, it just ended.
Mm-hmm.
So we have one season to go off of with these characters. But obviously, Tommy is the main guy. And shortly into it, he gets back with his ex-wife, Angela.
Yeah. She's
my.
Oh dear. She's a mess.
My.
She's a mess. And how else would you describe her?
I feel like I wrote their relationship probably from the origin of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Purely physical with a dash of like emotional love and attachment.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
I don't know if Billy Bob Thornton was supposed to be like a heartthrob, but I'm like, they don't. I'm like, they don't. Angela.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
His pants be sagging.
Yeah.
But anyways, aside from that, they're just toxic.
Oh my gosh. The most.
They're very independent of each other.
Totally. They
never
live
act as
different
a team.
lives.
They never act as a team.
Mm-mm.
They're not a couple. They don't parent together or the same.
Nope.
They never agree.
Nope.
So it's just such a weird dynamic.
It really is. It's funny that he just like was completely willing to like get back together with her.
But I think he was kind of like, she's not gonna take no for an answer.
Yeah.
So whatever.
He just doesn't have time for it.
He doesn't care. I don't think he actually cares.
Yeah, and he doesn't have time for the BS. Like,
no.
It's always like, oh, what time are you going to be home? And he's always like, it's going to be late, honey. Literally every time. and she gets annoyed and whatever.
Yeah.
And she
he literally has this talk with her. He's like, you have to stop having expectations. I love and I appreciate all the things you're doing.
Yeah, making me dinner every night or whatever.
Expect me to react a certain way.
Yes.
That you've cooked up in the brain.
Right.
So I appreciate that dynamic of like their candidness with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's nothing anyone should strive for.
No. And it reflects on their kids.
100%.
The daughter is the mom. The daughter, I forget her name.
I don't know. She's played by Michelle Randolph. What is her name?
She is copy paste of Angela.
Yep.
And she's a beautiful young girl.
And she knows it.
It just like her mom. Mm-hmm. Literally the same. And it's kind of sad, honestly, especially from like our perspective of like.
Right. She's like the classic example of a girl who hasn't had a good example set, who obviously doesn't know the Lord and what a gift she is and how she's been created with a purpose and for a purpose and all the things.
Yeah.
Her identity, she doesn't know, lies in Christ. And she's just the classic example of using sex to get love.
Yes.
And how a lot of times guys use love to get sex.
Yes.
And that's what
Recipe
we see.
for disaster.
That's what we see here. And I do think that the football player guy, I forget his name too, that she kind of has a relationship with, it totally starts off as that. He's a player. She's attracted to him and she just sees him as a challenge.
Yeah.
But then I think they finally, in a weird and twisted roadmap to get there, they get to a place where they're like, both kind of like, oh, wait, have you ever slept in the same bed with somebody before? Like, just sleep?
Yeah.
No, me either. And they're kind of just like each other's first person that they're willing to maybe just have more than purely a sexual relationship with.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we'll see of that. But yeah, it's definitely, again, none of the relationships we see or anything I would be like, oh, they're a great example of what you should want. Like, they're not. They're
quite
not
the opposite.
Yeah.
Quite
definitely.
The
they're a great example of what not to do.
Yeah.
And what not to be.
Totally.
And his son, too.
Oh, my.
We have a lot of thoughts on the son.
We do. We should probably not get into all of them, but the son.
I feel bad for the son.
Yeah.
I still feel like there's a chunk of information we're missing about him and his story with the family dynamic. There's something there we never got into, but you know, he's just like, he wants to be everything. He wants to do everything within the oil industry that, like, opposite of what he's seen. You know, he wants to build his own company. He wants to be the owner, but the guy who's done it all and has seen everybody's, you know, worked all the positions to know and understand fully instead of just being like the order.
Yeah.
But the relationship he lands into with the widow.
Yeah. Literally, her husband died in the oil accident. And then the son, his name starts with a C, I think. Cooper. Cooper, yeah.
Cooper sounds right.
He didn't like purposely like swoop in and like.
He really didn't. That's what I'm saying. His heart is like, he's a good kid. Yeah,
he didn't like see this vulnerable person very young person who just lost her husband in the oil accident that I was also there on scene for.
Who has a baby.
Yeah, like he didn't just like swoop in and take advantage of her, but like he still lands in this romantic relationship with her and almost immediately.
That's more on like her. I think his intentions were to basically try to justify the horrible wrongdoing that happened of this accident, and he just wanted to be helpful as possible. And so what started as just like being gracious and I'll do the lawn, you know, I'll fix up the lawn, I'll help you do what you need to help with, like. And
it was probably some guilt as well on his part, as far as like, I'm going to help you because like
I think that's what it was. Like, I think that's where it originated.
Yeah.
But yeah, then she's kind of like in such a low point where she's having like feelings for him, and I'm just kind of like, girl,
Yeah.
you're mourning, and you
Yeah,
don't
like,
know
let's
what
just
you're
do
feeling.
that. Let's
You
just
don't know
do
what you're
that.
feeling.
And
But they quickly like morph that into they shouldn't be feeling this way because she just lost the husband, but they can't fight that. They can't fight this feeling
yeah,
anymore.
they're trying to perform like some insane mental gymnastics to like
Yeah.
justify it or not justify it or whatever.
Right. Like part of me thinks like, oh, it's sweet and they just do really like each other, but then I'm just like, this can't work out.
No.
This can't be good. But I don't know. We'll see. We didn't get too much into it. It's obviously a drama. It was not a romantic show by any means, but I think the on-screen romance was subpar on Landman. I think it was more just like
it's all lust.
It's all lust.
All lust.
So, I don't know. I think we see a lot of toxic examples in Landman.
Yeah, all of them.
But Taylor Sheridan is going to continue to bring us all the series, all the
can't wait.
On-screen couples and romantic moments in the drama, in the great writing and storylines and all the things. So that was just an extended look at Yellowstone and Lioness and Landman. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, I like
all of that.
That was a fun breakdown.
It was fun to look back at those. Makes me want to rewatch the 1883 and 1923.
Yep.
So, and when we're recording this, 1923 is less than a month out from dropping season 2.
Yeah. So we'll have to do a recap of.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe a little short recap of the updates on.
For sure.
Spencer
Make
and
sure
Alex.
nobody dies or anything.
Oh my word.
Gosh, you never know.
Yeah, really. All right.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, that's a wrap on that one.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.